Hello, everybody. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to build a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Friday, so you know it's time for the Tech Diva Weekly. Yes, we'll be joined shortly by our friend all the way from New York City, Miss TJ, with TJ Online, and she always has some fabulous things to share with us. In addition to that, we hope to hear from Dr. Tachi all the way from Florida, where she'll be talking to us about media and what's going on over there. In the meantime, I just want to say that I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, is on assignment today. And so she's watching us to see if I really know what I'm doing because she is our major producer. With that, I just want to say hey to everybody who's watching by Facebook, and we are on Twitter and over on YouTube. I want to just give a shout out to you. Hi, how you doing, Pat? Thanks for tuning in. You need to stay tuned because there may be some comedy later because I'm producing today. But before we get into the news today, I want to talk about this week in tech. So because we always start with that. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that happened this week in tech history. It's coming to you from our website that we like to share from called This Day in Tech. And today it says he put the X in X-rays. Okay, on November 8th, 1895, the German professor Wilhelm Röntgen stumbles upon what he could later describe as X-rays. He did this while experimenting with electrical discharge tubes, curious as to what was causing that faint green glow in the background of his screen. He began systematically studying the unknown rays and published the first paper on the phenomenon less than 2 months later. He's referred to these glow as rays, and he called those rays X, indicating that they were unknown forms of radiation at the time. The same name has stuck, and so as a result, we get the nickname X-rays when we refer to this phenomena. He also received the first Nobel Physics Prize in 1901 for the work that he did on X-rays. Interesting. Hi, Nazim. How you doing? How's it going over there? um, this is the week that Android was introduced, no, 2007. Seems like it was longer than that, but it hasn't been. Google introduces the Android platform, its mobile operating system for cell phones, based on a modified version of the Linux operating system. The first Android-based phone would ship on in September of 2008. Wow, that's just a little over 10 years. It seems like we've had cell phones forever, doesn't it? Wow. I'm glad you're doing great, Nazim. We're going over this day in tech history. I want to share with you that the first Earthlings were put into orbit on November 3rd, 1957. The Soviet Union launches Sputnik 2, the second spacecraft launched into Earth orbit, and the first spacecraft to carry a living creature into orbit. It carried a Serbian husky dog. That's interesting. I must have said something to my Siri because it went over there to find um, the dog. Unfortunately, only survived a few hours into the flight and died from stress and overheating. So Lika, the Siberian husky dog, didn't survive the journey. The Soviets had planned to euthanize Lika regardless, as Sputnik 2 did not have deorbiting or re-entry technology designed into the spacecraft. Ah, how you doing this morning, TJ?
Hello.
It's so good to have you here. I'm sharing this day and this week in tech history. So
Okay.
I've got two more quickies that I want to share. And this one is about Morse worm tunnels through the internet. November 2nd, 1988, Robert Morse of Cornell University launches a self-replicating worm as part of a research project designed to determine the size of the internet. So it wasn't an intentional worm. He was trying to figure out how large the internet was through this school project. Because I think sometimes we think every worm is intentional. However, due to programming error, the Morse worm began repeatedly infecting machines, clogging the network traffic, and causing machines to crash. Eventually, the worm spread to 6,000 machines, which was roughly 10% of the internet at the time, causing significant downtime for government, well, that makes sense, and university systems for 2 days. Morse was dismissed from Cornell. Interesting. Uh, Sentenced to 3 years probation and a $10,000 fine. Really? all, all of this kind of school project. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't monitored. Okay, but
Right.
hey, I wasn't sitting on that board. Okay. I think I would have hired him to find out what really happened, not let him go. How you doing this morning, Jill? Jill's here from the breathing space. Ah, so the last one I want to close with because I am part of this era. Some of you will not even know what I'm talking about. The first transistor radio goes on sale, November 1st, 1954. Industrial Development Engineer Associates begin selling the Regency TR1, the world's first commercial transistor radio. Texas Instruments designed and developed the transistor technology. And then they partnered with Industrial Development Engineering Associates to design and manufacture the completed radio. It sold over 100 units, ushering in the commercial transistor industry. And let me see if I can let you see. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That is a transistor radio for people who are clueless.
For people who don't know what that is.
And it had an ear jack. You could
Oh my goodness.
okay. So I think it was sort of like the first what was it? iPod,
Yeah.
because you could carry your music in your pocket. You could change it to whatever you wanted. So it had a lot of interesting features, but I wanted to definitely share that transistor a picture of that transistor radio because I thought
Oh
that was
yeah,
so
we need context to see what it is,
yes,
'cause
we need
exactly.
visuals. Um, yeah, so
Just like
I,
some
I
kids
thought I,
don't know
I
what
thought
a,
that was
a
good that
phone
they
is, but just how some kids don't know what a phone is, the regular phone that with the handle and the curly cord.
landline.
Yeah, they don't know that. A
They have no,
landline.
they have no idea what landline looks like. Uh, Pat says, "Wow, I think my dad used to listen to some kind of tube radio when he was a kid." Oh yeah,
Really?
I remember that. My grandmother had a big tube radio in the living room, and she also had one of the first TVs, and I think the screen was about this big. And she would watch the fight, and she would
She said, I used to have a Radio Shack transistor radio when I was a kid. And she said, remember, I just turned 60 this week. So happy birthday.
happy,
60 is what
oh,
what rhymes with is they say 50 is nifty, 60 is something. It needs to rhyme. We need a word
I
to
don't
rhyme with 50, 60.
remember Heathcliff. I'm not sure. He's asking
Hold
us a
on.
question over here, and
Heath Kit or Heathcliff? Heathcliff? Wasn't that a
a
comic strip?
cartoonist.
You mean the cartoon?
I think so. I think so. Heathcliff
That's his
was.
happy birthday to
Pat
herself.
says, "Happy birthday, guys."
Yes, say happy birthday to yourself. That's a milestone to be celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrated. Celebrated. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Woo. Well, I've got a couple of articles that I want to share real
Let's get
quick
into it.
before you get started.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to talk about the fact that T-Mobile claims that it will give free internet to 10 million homes if Sprint merger goes through. Did you read about
Really?
that?
No, let's hear it. Let's talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. It says on Thursday, T-Mobile's CEO John Legere announced that if his company merges with Sprint closes, the new T-Mobile will roll out a program to help provide children across the country with greater access to the internet and close the homework gap. I remember they used to call it the digital divide. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
T-Mobile is
Mm-hmm.
calling it Project 10 Million, and it claims to provide 10 million households with free access to the internet. It's a $10 billion commitment from the proposed T-Mobile that will take place over the next 5 years. The company so they're going to spread it over a 5 year period now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
The company has also, which sounds like 2 million a year, but anyway, the company has vowed to invest another 700 million to put hardware, hotspots, and reduce cost devices in 10 million households to help deliver access. So eligible families will receive up to 100 gigabytes of free internet access each year, one free Wi-Fi enabled hotspot, and the option to purchase selected Wi-Fi enabled devices at the company cost. So, and the article goes on, but I just thought that was interesting because
So
it
100
seemed
gigabytes a year.
a year, yeah. So don't stream any
That's
movies.
less than 10 a month.
Oh no, you didn't divide that. Yeah, it's not a
Right?
lot. It's not a lot, but
Because
you have to.
because they're okay, so because they're doing it to branch the digital divide as far
So
as
they say.
children and homework. So you're not going to be using it to, watch Netflix or whatever because you can't. So
Okay,
and okay, here Nazim says, who's going to pay for this? The consumer in the end. Okay.
always,
Right. But see, this
always,
is
and
the
not only
deal. Go ahead. Go ahead, Terry.
that, I'm not surprised that it's also going to be the taxpayer because they're going to start some kind of collaboration, if you will, with the Department of Education, et cetera, et cetera. And so now you end up with a lot of grants and systematic ways to tie into this. Uh, what do you call it? Matching and things like that. I'm sure it's going to escalate. And in the end, they probably will pay zero because they're going to take it off their taxes.
Right. They somehow somewhere they'll get the benefit of it, do taxes or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Um and also you have to remember in the United States there's a lot of rural areas that they don't get internet or it's very spotty or whatever cuz if you live in an urban city like I'm in New York, in California, we take that access for granted because there's towers everywhere. But when you and I
Mm-hmm.
think I've some people have come on here and I think said someone was in Alaska and they only had like one choice or something for internet access and it was
Mm-hmm.
very slow. And so you have to realize that there's a lot of places that don't have access. And so as far as for the children, they have everything for my daughter, her homework is online. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
online. Like she has to go on and do something on and they use Google Classroom and stuff like that. So the days of them printing out paper and sending paper homework, then
Mm-hmm.
no. Everything's on it. You use a computer or you use a phone or you need some kind of device and you need internet access. Now here in New York, for some of the neighborhoods that are low income, the library you can go to the library and rent a router. They rent out routers and you get
Oh wow.
access like that
Okay.
because right. So because the library closes a certain time, the children
Yeah.
may have homework, so you can rent it. I'm not sure of the rental terms, but you can rent access. You take the device home, hook it up, and you get internet through the
Oh,
library.
nice.
So I
That's
like that process. I also
creative.
like what they say doing here, but that's why they have to have it because there's a gap. So
Well,
where you live, like our state is really good with that, with
Mm-hmm.
filling the gap between because in New York, the rich, they buy $100 million apartments. But
Yes.
you have other people who live and who service those people who need access to transportation, and they need access to internet and all of that stuff, because they'll get left behind. Like I said, the school system, everything's online. I check my daughter's grades online. Everything's online. It's more convenient, but there's a section of they can't afford internet in the home. So what do? You have to provide that service. So that's what they do here. You can rent the device, take it home, and you get access. And like Terry was saying, what was the limit? 100 gigs a year. So it's
A
not
100
for
gigs a year.
right. It's not for entertainment. It's for your kid needs to do homework. You need to get, look at the subway map, or something like that. Functional
Mm-hmm.
things. So that's how it works here.
Okay,
Wow.
so I
Hello,
think
Tachi.
it's
Hey,
so good
Dr.
to have
Tachi.
you back.
Yeah, we missed you.
I know I miss you guys too. Yay. I'm back.
Well, I
So
think
tell her, Terry, to tell her the story about the internet access for the children doing the homework.
um
Just a recap for
yeah,
her.
that what is it? 18 is it T-Mobile? Because they want
T-Mobile.
to merge, they want to merge with Sprint. And the
Hmm.
only thing holding it up now is, it's got to go through government approval.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct.
And
Approval.
in order to, I think, grease the pot, they decided that they're going to be very benevolent and give access to 10 million children who don't
They don't
have
have internet.
readily
Yeah,
accessible access to the internet.
yeah.
Now, here's the deal. It reminds me, guys. Now, okay, call me cynical. It reminds me. You remember when there was that particular motorcycle group that didn't have a good image, and they decided to do the Santa Claus thing and do all these gifts to improve their image because their attorney told them they needed to improve their image.
Mm.
What's going on with these high tech companies? For instance, now we know that who is it? Somebody recently gave a couple of billion for housing in San Francisco. Um,
That was Apple.
That
that
was
was
Apple.
Apple.
That was
Yes,
Apple. Hmm.
and so I think that was an effort to help them with the fact that they are pricing everybody out. Nobody can afford to really live in the area anymore. And then they took that money. They didn't put it necessarily in San Francisco. They put it down in Silicon Valley. So there's still a commute if you want to live in San Francisco. I mean, I'm just saying. I just see this whole thing as a PR thing.
Yeah.
Nevertheless,
Yes.
somebody will benefit, which is better than zero, right?
That's true.
It
You know
beats a
the
blank.
I think the thing for me is that these companies have to be held under with your heel on their necks before they do any of this. These issues like the digital divide and like the housing issue have it been existing and you're aware of it. But it's a little suspicious, or as some people like to say, suspect, that T-Mobile and Sprint now you want to be fine, upright citizens again. What happened to before? That's a nice bribe. That's a nice bribe. That's all I have to say to that. But it's really, we need to hold these companies more to corporate responsibility. No, they don't do it unless they're asked to or forced to often, and
or
that's not
or it
every.
looks or it looks bad, and somebody told them we need to improve our image.
Right, PR
So
stunt.
let me see what this article
So
says. What day was this? November 4th. Apple announced a pledge of 2.5 billion to combat the housing crisis in its home state of California. Yeah, we love
But
California.
how? So
Well,
just throwing money solve the problem, or do we need people to have solutions and then the money comes,
how about
right?
jobs? How
yeah,
how about,
I am
and
with you.
hold on. They want to select who gets to live in the housing. They want the housing for teachers, first responders, basically professionals who cannot, who can no longer afford to live in San Francisco because even if you're making $120,000 a year, you're
It's not
considered low
enough.
income. In
Mhm.
in San Francisco. Okay,
Okay, that makes
you
sense
ain't
because
getting nothing.
that's the framework of a city is teachers, firefighters, EMTs, medical. So teachers aren't getting enough money, period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Period. So you know at the beginning of the school year, they have all those lists on Amazon, and I see all the stories where teachers are begging people to help them buy supplies for their school, for their classroom, because they were taking it out of their pay. But
Oh yeah.
something changed in the taxes, so they can't do it anymore because they're not going to get reimbursed. I think something when they changed the tax laws last year, so the teachers can't. Teachers were buying stuff, and then okay, I can get it back on my taxes. They can't do it anymore. So now you have a problem with that, where teachers aren't getting paid enough. They can't. They have to ask for, the kid has there's like a
The
10-page
supplies are
list of things,
limited.
the supplies to come in. So now I agree with that. Let the teachers and the firefighters, EMT have first on the top of the list, because you need that infrastructure for a city, for a community.
Well, you recognize that they have government programs where you can buy a house for $1 in some cities. If you are a firefighter, a teacher, they have certain categories.
Wasn't that Detroit that did that? I think Detroit did that a couple years
Yeah, a
ago.
lot of cities have done it.
Yeah, it was the FHA thing. So,
Okay.
pardon me, it was a federal. Start throwing around letters.
Yeah, don't throw any acronyms around. There's no, we're government people. They don't know what those things are.
You feeling me? So, yeah. But I'm going to read this is from The Verge, and it's under the Apple tab. It says Apple breaks down its commitment into 2 large $1 billion funds. It also has a series of smaller donations and pledges of various other housing issues. $1 billion Affordable Housing Investment Fund. That commitment is to the state of California. $1 billion First Time Home Buyer Mortgage Assistance Fund, and then they have the $300 million. So the first two are billion. $300 million Apple-owned land will be available for affordable housing. Apple intends to make available land, so they own all this land on top of all of this. They bought up San Francisco.
Steve Jobs, so forward thinking. He bought all this
worth
land.
Approximately $300 million for the development of affordable housing. And then $150 million Bay Area Housing Fund is a public-private partnership. See what I mean? It's not all their money. Apple is launching a new $150 million affordable housing fund with partners including Housing Trust Silicon Valley, they probably own that bank, to support new affordable housing projects. The fund will consist of long-term forgivable loans and grants. See, when I say grants, okay, $50 million to support vulnerable populations. Apple will donate $50 million to support Destination Homes efforts to address homelessness in Silicon Valley. I mean, because domestics can't afford to live there anymore. People can't show up at McDonald's. They can't. Will focus its contribution on driving systematic change across the many factors affecting homelessness. Apple will also be identifying similar efforts in Northern and Southern California, focusing on strategies that will end and prevent homelessness. So evidently, their employees are tired of stepping over homeless people.
Well, some of their employees are homeless themselves. I'm not trying to be funny, but there was a whole thing. I talked about this before, where there are several Silicon Valley employees who can't really afford the rents in San Francisco and the places. So what they're doing is they have these trailers that are parked on the streets. So they said they'd rather pay for the ticket for being parked on the street than to have to pay, because that's more affordable. What kind? This is a problem. This is a huge
they
problem.
were talking about how policemen were sleeping in their car because after a 12-hour shift, they didn't want to make the 2-hour commute home.
Right.
Because they can't afford to live in. And the teachers are living like they were in college, 3 and 4 to a room, like a dormitory, just so they can afford to stay in the area.
See, and that is going to lead to this kind of brain drain. In a sense, it already has, because they can't afford to live in the city. But how long is it going to be before you get weary and tired of the constant travel or sleeping on the street and you just you know what, I have to move, or I have to
Yeah.
find someplace else. And there's a brain drain when it comes to these things. Look at what's happened already with LA. Even though that is the epicenter of the entertainment industry, you have an awful lot of people who have made that move to Nevada, to Vegas, or whatever, because it's so much cheaper. And
Right.
so
Yes.
when you can't maintain your city, it's not just about, see, and this is what the thing is. If it worked, I'm sure they would love it, because there are several people that are in certain income brackets who would love to only be surrounded by their own income bracket. However selfish, that doesn't work. A city needs all types of people in order to run. So those things that you need done, that the person that
Yeah,
works
the
at your
service
business,
industry. Yeah.
the service industry, well,
Mhm.
they're not going to be able to afford to work there,
Nope.
because
Look at
so
Agreed. Agreed. That's not good. That's not going to be. You have to realize that, okay, I mentioned that about New York, about being ultra rich here, where there's $100 million condos and built and apartments and stuff and everything, but you need people to come and clean these buildings and service this building and give you the coffee and give you the paper and all of those things. So if they can't afford to live in the area also close by, then you're not going to get those things, Mr. Billionaire. I got $100 million apartment.
exactly. I mean, that's even something that we see. It's all over. It's not just San
Yeah,
Francisco,
yeah, it's
but
not just there.
looking here, for example, so South Florida, you talk about Key West. Now, for
Mhm.
me, Key West is a 4-hour drive, right? But
Mhm.
you have to think about, what is Key West's major industry?
Tourism.
Tourism. Right. So that means hotels, that means other service industry things, but Key West is
Restaurants.
not cheap.
Mhm.
Restaurants. So
Yeah.
what happens is, and there are an awful lot of Haitian immigrants who work in these places, but they can't afford to live in Key West. So they live in Marathon, which is an island almost at the top of the Keys, and then they have to take a bus all the way down. And with the Keys, there's a bridge. There's that bridge that goes through all of them. There's
That's
like
why I'm
one way
like, no,
in and one way out.
I can't. Not me.
I
I don't
can't
think about
either.
bridges.
I'm not good with one way in and one way out.
No, no.
That's it. So I couldn't do it. It's a wonderful place to visit, but to live, I don't know. But so that's problematic,
Right.
especially with a place that is so heavily
I
dependent
would
on
think so.
tourism. So transferring this now to the tech industry, it's not just about tech. And I think the tech industries have not done a good job of being humanistic.
Right.
You need all sorts of people to work in
Mhm.
the tech industry, not just engineers, not just computer scientists. You need everybody. Who's going to clean Google?
The service industry, yes. It's
Do you
the
understand what
backbone
I'm
of the
saying?
country. It always has been. Blue collar jobs. It used to be labor market manufacturing. Now it's service industry. You're not going to get away from that unless you building robots. Everybody, the service industry is going to be taken over by robots.
Well, I don't know. But Nazim says he used to live in South Beach and it was cheap in 92.
Well, because nobody wanted to live there. The thing with South Beach
Mhm.
was, okay, let me tell you what made South Beach, or started to make it. Miami Vice. Before, all
Ah,
those buildings on South Beach, which they
yes.
call Miami, but is really Miami Beach, it's a separate city altogether. All
Okay.
those buildings were like apartment buildings that older people lived in. It was sleepy. Nobody really wanted to be there. But when they got these buildings, refabbed them and polished them up and made them all colorful because of the shooting of Miami Vice in the late 80s,
Right.
that's what really started to make things turn around. So even, it was still cheap into the 90s, but as we start to get into the late 90s, early 2000s, you start to see developers come in, this whole real estate
Yeah, they
boom
smell
thing.
the opportunity. But
Exactly.
Mm.
that's what happens. Underdeveloped neighborhood. All they need is a developer to ride through and go, and they see money. When they see money and empty lots, it's the same thing with the South Bronx years ago. Horrible
Mm.
buildings burnt, and all look at the 80s movies and see the Bronx. It does not look like anything like that.
That is not the same Bronx.
Nope.
Bronx has
Mm.
completely
Nope.
transformed.
Gentrified with new shiny glass buildings and beautiful this and that. So that's what happens. They see an opportunity of, you see ruin, they see money, because they're going to bulldoze that
Mhm.
and put up a glass condo building as how many feet tall, in the air, and floors and this and that, because it's money.
Exactly. And I think and this is kind of off topic, but not really. I think that at the end of the day, we understand cities and municipalities are going to do what they have to do to attract the type of people they want to attract. Let's not fool ourselves with who that is, because that means money for them in terms of tax base, etc. Fine, but I think at the end of the day, those of us that live in these neighborhoods, we have to start to appreciate them more and stop trying to let's move out to the suburbs, or and when I was at DC, everybody was trying to move out to Maryland. Everybody wanted to live in Maryland. Well, you don't realize that house you have in downtown Northeast DC is way more valuable than anything. And so you give it up, you sell it for pennies on the dollar.
Value.
Exactly. So I think it's on us too. The onus is also on us. Those of us that have land, I know it's time. Hold on to it.
Exactly.
Hold on.
Yeah, we didn't have
now
because things have changed.
Nazim has a question. He said, "What does the future in the next 20 years look like? Will working remotely be the new norm?"
I would think so. I think it's already the new norm. It's just a well-kept secret. There are so many people who have become who are now able to become entrepreneurs and to move into this digital economy. And it's just like the industrial age. You got to make the shift. But ladies, I didn't mean to, I'm always taking us down rabbit holes. Let's get to tech and media. What's happening, TJ?
Well, what I have.
What's happening in tech?
Let me pull it up. Hold on. I had my stuff pulled up and it falls asleep on me, my phone.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
So talking about tech, Facebook is testing facial detection to keep bots at bay. So what they're going to do is they're going to have new tactics with facial recognition tech to spot fake profiles. So it's going to ask you to take a video selfie, turn your head from side to side in order to verify that you're not a bot. They're testing this.
Okay.
There's no word when the feature will roll out or if or when it'll be used. So it's one of the things that Facebook is looking at. So what do you think of that?
I don't know what access the bot gets, so I don't know what they're protecting.
Okay, so see what it is that the Facebook has a problem, especially on Instagram with bots, because on Instagram, people are seeing the engagement levels for posts and stories. I've seen the discussion. It goes up high and then it goes down low, and people get upset. Oh, I had 1,000 likes and now I only got 23 likes. What's going on? Boo hoo hoo hoo. But what's going in the background? Facebook is getting rid of the bots. Bots are just software that go in and like or put those fake comments under your post. Those are automated software. People pay for that. So Facebook
it's like
is getting
when people
rid of
used
that.
To buy likes. And
so they're getting rid of that. So in order to take it a step further, they're not going to let you let a fake software or whatever create a profile. You have to be a person. So when they ask you to sign up, you're going to have to take a selfie.
Gotcha.
That's what this is for.
Oh, okay. To prevent
it's to keep bots from even signing up for an account or having access to that. And it's a test. It's not anything that they may. It's not something they may implement. They may not. It's just a testing feature.
Wow.
So it's all with verification ID. And remember, Facebook in the beginning was real people. You had real connections with real people. It started with colleges and college kids signed up. And so it just got to the point where now we're at this place where scammers and bots and things of that automated processes are trying to get in because there's money to be made with that kind of thing. So they're trying to get rid of that.
Well, Nazim asked the question, will Facebook fade away down the road? Let me put this up. Let's see.
Oh, got it. Oh, got it.
You
got it. Go ahead. I think we're both clicking on it. Go ahead.
Will Facebook fade away down the road? They're getting a lot of flack lately. What do you think, ladies? I think they're here to stay. But
let's talk about this. Remember this thing called MySpace? That was such it was the rage.
Yes.
They couldn't get enough. And who started on it? Teenagers, and then it became thing, and then adults got on it, but then Facebook came. So guess what? that's the cycle, the cycle of an app. It's going to be popular, widely popular, and then something else is
Well,
going to
well,
come along.
I think there's a big difference here.
Okay.
Facebook is well funded. Facebook just eats other apps. Okay,
I'm not saying it's going away. It's not going to have its day anymore.
Okay.
It's not going to be popular. It's already there with Gen Z and millennial.
Well,
They don't use it.
It just may just rebrand itself. You would be surprised how many millennials tell me, I don't like Facebook, but I'm on Instagram. Who owns Instagram?
But see, that's a branding thing. Instagram is it, and there was a discussion about this that a lot of people don't know that Facebook owns Instagram, but it's not about that. It's about the uses in their mind of a brand app. That Instagram is cooler than Facebook.
Yeah, and I'm just saying they will just rebrand themselves and be over here.
That's why we talk about generational use of social media and things.
Right.
You have to look at what's happening over there, not what they're doing today. What's happening over there. So if the attention for the younger generation has left, that means it's going to slowly drop off. It may not die. It's not going to dominate as it can't. There's a thing that they say, oh, it's too big to fail. Ask AIG and all of these other businesses in finance, Lehman Brothers, stuff like that. Companies are gone. Sears, boom.
I just think they're going to just reinvent themselves rather than, they'll disappear as quote unquote Facebook.
They have too many problems that they're not working on. They're not working on the privacy issue. They're not working on that. They're throwing other things. They threw Bitcoin at us. They're throwing the healthcare stuff. They're throwing everything at us to make us stop looking at the privacy issue. They have a problem that they haven't fixed. They have a decayed tooth and they haven't fixed it.
Well, you know something? Most businesses who get into that kind of thing in America, they just shut down and open across the street under another name.
I want to hear what time. I know. I kind of know, but I would love the dear Facebook. Dear Facebook.
Dear Facebook. I need to do like Jimmy Fallon where he writes that letter.
Yes.
So I honestly think, here's the thing. It all lies with us as consumers. If we consistently forgive Facebook for their transgressions, for the lack of privacy, and things continue to happen and are probably continuing to happen, and we're not aware at this point, but we don't do anything about it. So at the end of the day, if and only if everybody says, you know what, we're done, it's too much, we're over it. Just like how MySpace got really crazy and out of control and people started to drop off, that will only happen, or they'll only shutter or pivot or whatever if that type of thing happens where they lose a critical mass of users, which I don't see happening. But I think this was also the impetus for the move to separate Facebook in capital letters from Facebook, the platform, right? So they're trying to differentiate the company and their holdings from Facebook. Now we're Facebook, so it's all distraction.
I'm sorry, I cannot stop laughing.
10-pound gorilla is capital.
I forgot about that, and I forgot about that little thing that they did this week where Facebook is becoming the brand separate from Facebook, the app.
Right.
It's
Facebook,
like
the
what?
app, and then Facebook, the brand.
I'm like, what? It's you, and I'm done. What I'm saying is they haven't fixed their privacy issue. They're doing everything but fixing the problem. Fix the privacy issue.
Well, when you have all these wonderful distractions, I don't have to fix anything. Oh, another pretty shiny toy. And at the end, I think people really are wise to their wicked ways, but I don't know how many people are really willing to advocate for their change. That's the thing. It takes time and energy and patience.
Agreed.
To get somebody to change, to boycott, to do it takes time. I don't think the average person is willing to do it.
They're not. And look what Twitter did. Twitter decided not to run any political ads, which I love that. Why can't people do that? Because they're going to lose money.
Exactly. It's very simple. And at the end of the day, that is going to save Twitter a whole lot of headache. The
Yeah.
fact that you don't have to deal and sift through,
They're
because
making an effort. They're making an effort that Facebook is not making.
and I think they also saw an opportunity where Facebook is failing to, even
Yes.
though they're a different type of platform and they posit themselves as such, I think they saw an opportunity to
Yes.
fill in some gaps, especially news-wise, where
Mhm.
Facebook is failing.
Yeah, because
So
where do we go? I go to Twitter for news. That's
exactly.
what it's
Well,
for.
Nazim says he would never have found us. Listen, it was not for
I
Facebook.
found the zine because of Google.
Oh wow. Well, you know, this is not to say necessarily. I think I've been on Facebook since the beginning when you had to have an EDU account. I
Uh-huh.
see the promise that Facebook has. Yeah, I see the promise that all these platforms have. But promise quickly goes away when it gets out of control and you don't care about getting it back under control. It took the whole government to call you to Capitol Hill to even get you to look at what was wrong. That's problematic.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up something that Carolina likes to talk about, the dating. So
Oh.
Facebook is that bad, the bad boy that you're dating. Everybody knows is a bad boy, but you, because you're so romantic, you have the heart eyes, and you're so enamored. You know what I mean? But everybody's saying that guy's not good for you. He been in jail. Got out of jail. He did this. He did that. And you're like, but I love him. And your view of him is that he's this everything you wanted, but everybody else can see that he's not. That's the feeling I'm getting.
So how does this work?
The people that love Facebook, they're loving it despite the flaws, is what I'm trying to say. That we see
what you're saying.
See the flaws, but you're so enamored.
We talked about Stockholm syndrome, right? I mean,
yeah,
you've been captive so long, you think it's the norm, and eventually you begin to love it and relate to your capture.
Yeah. There's tons of other apps, there's tons of other ways. Business-wise, there's tons of other strategies to use besides Facebook. And I say that because people want to use Facebook for everything and don't want to look at anything else because they don't want to change. They're enamored. They're this, they're that. Even though Facebook is like the organic reach on your business page is like minus 10 below 0 or whatever, they still want to go, but Facebook this. And I'm like, there's other things you can do.
They've been convinced. They've been convinced that Facebook is the way, the light, and the truth. Okay, they have been bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray. Plymouth Rock didn't land. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Okay, so all those things have been Facebook's MO up until this point.
Look at this by Nazim. My mom would kill me if I left Facebook. She loves seeing on my updates. See, that's the thing. With the older generation, they are dug in.
Exactly.
With Facebook, I get to see grandma, I get to see my grandchildren, I get to talk without having to make phone calls or all of the long distance part of it. So they love it for that.
And it's relatively user friendly. So there's not a whole lot of rigmarole that you need to go through in order to use it, which works for older people who did not grow up with technology and don't care to learn technology. Oh, all I have to do is sign up. Wonderful. So that's one reason, I'm like, well, damn it, I just learned Facebook. I'm not learning something else.
Right.
And that's where I think Facebook has some people. But I think that people have to also look at the fact that even though the reach is over, what is it, at 2.4 billion at this point, that doesn't mean there are 2.4 billion people using it at any one time. So that's the upper.
You have to look at the daily active user count.
Correct. Which is not that high. I mean, not the 2.4 billion high. No.
Right.
So there are other ways. And in the world of research and academia, we use the term triangulation when you're trying to research and find the answer through multiple different methods.
Right.
So I think that's what you need to do. You employ triangulation. Use different methods of social media to reach your intended outcome. It's not going to be from one platform for most of us.
Don't put all your eggs in the Facebook basket.
Thank you. Because they might fall out and break.
Don't put all your eggs in the Facebook basket. Because I'm not saying it's going anywhere. It's dug in. There's 2.4 billion signed up. They're signed up, not active. Signed up. That's a big pot to pull from, especially if you're getting into doing Facebook ads. There's a lot of use there and strategy, but you have to know what you're doing. But there's potential there. What I'm saying is that the ship is, it's not going to be upright the whole time. It's going to sail off into the sunset because that's just the nature of life.
Absolutely.
It's not, I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying 10 years. I don't know when, but there will be, because that's what happens.
Well, I think we need to move on.
Yeah.
Now that we've
one more thing before we go to the media. Hold on, just speaking of Twitter, and where's my story? Twitter has, sorry guys, I have everything pulled up.
You said something about topics.
Twitter has Twitter is okay, Twitter is making, hold up, all these ads. Twitter makes it easy to follow specific topics rather than users. I like this for Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, because we were saying about, they're making a stand against political ads and need to work on the hate speech and everything, but let's give them some time. But they're making it easy to follow because Twitter is news-based, information-based. You can follow topics instead of particular users, because you may be interested in one topic and it's hard to find people that are talking about the topic the right way. They may be saying something and it's not relevant to you, so you can follow topics instead of people. Like if you're a comedian and you want to follow things about comedians and all that, you can follow that topic, or a sport or interest, or jewelry or whatever. You can follow the topic, and Twitter will give you the people that are relevant and talking about that topic instead of you. That's the part that people don't like, that's hard about Twitter, is who do I follow to be relevant information on my industry or my topic or whatever. So they're doing that. So I think that's a good thing to do.
Good.
Oh, okay.
So it will make Twitter easier if you're there for the purpose, instead of just the foolishness that you gotta swim through to find something relevant.
The wonderfulness. I call it wonderfulness.
Yeah. So there's it's like a city. There's different blocks and good things are going on, and then you go around another block and foolishness is happening, and you don't want any part of that, so you go back. It's like that. So.
Wow. And hopefully you go back and they've done some renovations.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my two things.
Oh, wow. Well, I would say it's about damn time, Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I refuse to do, and you guys know this about me, that I refuse to bake cookies and give accolades for the things you already should have been doing. Right. So, good for you. Congratulations. But I'm not giving you a cookie because that's what you should have already been damn well doing.
So I'm going to cut down on the confusion of Twitter. There's good stuff, but how do I get to it? So that's going to cut down the confusion, which is a good thing.
Well, good for you.
Now, you've been out on the road. Tell us what's going on, Doc.
Oh, are we at the media point now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot going on media wise. So there's a couple of things that I shared Wednesday that I want to share with you all. And the interesting thing, the streaming wars. I talk about this, it seems, every single time with all. It's a hot topic because, the funny thing is streaming has been Netflix made streaming popular. Let's be clear. And everybody was streaming. That nonsense. Nobody will do it. And so people ignore. And this is what the traditional media industry does. They ignore things until they have to take part in it because
it falls on their head.
Exactly. It's like, bam. What?
When they start losing money. Yeah. When they lose the market share.
Exactly. When it affects their bottom line, they say, oh, well, maybe we should get into streaming. You dimwit. This is what you should have been doing. So I see media industries and industries in general are risk adverse. They don't like to take leaps into things that they don't know are profitable. Never mind that Netflix, had been profitable. Fine. So they're doing it now. So what's happening now is, for those of you that share Medea and Nem's one password for Netflix or whatever, you need to start to listen up because that may be ending soon. So the next front in the streaming wars may be a piracy crackdown or crack down in
Yeah.
sharing passwords, basically. So this is actually a big priority. Why? Because it affects their bottom line. I look at it from two standpoints. It does affect their bottom line, definitely. But I also looked at it like this, and I posed this question on Wednesday. I said, so what is the difference between, with some obvious things, what is the difference between somebody holding a watch party or watch parties every week that Stranger Things is, every week for Stranger Things,
Yes.
Versus, Boo Boo using your password or your entire freshman dorm using your password. Okay, what is the difference with the exception that somebody who has a password has access to go in at any time and look at things, but are they really? I would venture to say probably not. There are probably a few properties that they want to watch, and that's what they do. So what's the difference there? Are you not going to tell people, well, you can't have watch parties, or you can't do this, or you can't stream in certain places? Where is that line? But I do see what they're saying. It does affect the bottom line, but it also could help the bottom line because here's the thing, and I'm not going to lie. So when I went to home to upstate New York last Christmas, I used, I signed into Netflix. I was like, well, here's the password, use it whenever. My sister actually was like, she's like, well, let's just get another account. Okay. So there are a lot of people that will do that will end up watching your account or using it and then like decide, well, you know what? I think I want my own. So it works the other way as well. But, that's a big hot button topic. The fact that these companies are going to start to crack down on password sharing. And there was a white paper that Broadcasting and Cable actually put out, and this was several months ago that I looked at, that was talking about cracking down on passwords. I'm like, oh hell, it's happening. When you see it come out in a publication like Broadcasting and Cable and they're examining it, it's happening. So at this point, it's already late that we're finding out about it.
Wow.
Now, speaking of what you're just saying, there was an app called Rabbit that did that. That you could, you would go in and log in an account and you would sign into Netflix or whatever, and then you would invite your friends into your private room and all of you would watch on the computer the movie, the TV show, or whatever that you pulled up. Now Rabbit went defunct earlier this summer, like in June or July. They didn't get their VC funding. For some reason, I was reading a story from the CEO as to why. But that's to Tachi's point, that what's to keep somebody from doing that? Because they had Rabbit. If I have, say, 6 people or whatever the limit was that could come in a room, I pay for the Netflix and all of you guys come on over and give me like $1, whatever. And we all watch the one Netflix account. See?
Absolutely. And you can also, for example, I haven't seen where this has been a problem with crackdown yet with Facebook. If you had a private group and you decided to stream a movie in there, for right now, there's nothing precluding you from doing that, or on any of these platforms. So where does your crackdown begin and where does it end?
Right.
Well,
so
I don't know.
What's to keep somebody from doing the next Rabbit? Where it's a platform where I as the account owner log into Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever, and I tell my friends that send them the link. Hey, come on over. We getting ready to watch whatever at this time. Come on over. We're all watching on our device because it was computer or your device or whatever, and you get to talk to each other online watching the same show.
Well, isn't that what Watch Party is?
It is, but it's supposed to be not for those kind of videos. I don't think that's what they envision.
Anything with copyright on it, like starting from Netflix, and you wouldn't be able to bring those over. You can't bring them in anyway.
Right.
Watch Party. It has to be
live or something.
Yeah, live video, or it could be recorded video from somebody else's page, but it has to be from somebody else's page, not from Netflix or YouTube. Outside of Facebook,
so it's within the Facebook.
Yeah, it has to be video from somebody's Facebook watch or their page or whatever.
A video that you've uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Right.
Again, though,
I tell you, now, didn't Amazon just get a deal with Disney? Amazon just got a deal with Disney to stream, right? Okay, let me
Oh,
go.
yes, yes. I'm like, yes, you're right. You're right.
Uh-huh. And
I have
so now it's going to be on those Fire things. Tell us about it.
they had so I don't have a whole lot of information, but I know there's they do have a deal with Disney now. So yeah, you can access Disney Plus content on like any Fire thing with Fire Stick, Fire
Fire TV, their
TV, Fire tablet. Yeah,
Samsung TV. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
big deal. So
It is.
this came out in, so you'll be able to do that when they launch on November 12th. According to I'm in here on The Verge,
Yes.
and it's
All right,
so now
I'm
you'll be
just
able to
Nazim
tell
is leaving. So
Alexa.
I just want to say goodbye to Nazim. He's leaving. Thanks,
Hi,
thanks,
Nazim.
Brian,
thanks.
So so yeah, that like this just happened. So that's why I like just saw it like probably early this morning. But I knew
hmm
that so it's a that distribution deal for Disney Plus. And this actually I think I talked about it a little bit earlier that when they were in the works of doing it. So now it's actually happening. And like you said, it's huge because Disney owns so much content. And this is major because this places them in direct comp. They're already in competition, but Netflix should be worried a little bit.
Well, as soon as I get a chance, I'm really going to cut them loose. But I didn't want to say that out
Cut
loud. But
Hulu. Cut Netflix.
I, Netflix and Hulu.
Both of
I'm
them.
done.
Okay.
And yeah. I'm just gonna be wandering the planet looking for
Bye,
And,
content that I love.
thanks for watching.
bye. And I think that's actually the age that we're in now. We really are in the a la carte age. I don't think there is
hmm
one place that can satisfy everybody's content needs. It's not like cable was, and cable was only that. First of all, it didn't necessarily satisfy everybody's content needs, but it was all there was. So you kind of put up with it and thought it satisfied your needs until people came up with other platforms that could satiate those needs for content. So I think
hmm
we're all going to be content nomads, to be
Right.
honest.
And I
I
mentioned
like that
before, I
term.
like Netflix because of, they have more international content, the
hmm
Nigerian films, and they have the Mandarin stuff from China and Tokyo and Japan and everywhere. So I like that kind of content. So I'm sticking with Netflix, but the Hulu, we got rid of that a while back because I was just, like you said, Netflix and Hulu. No, I'm gonna keep one.
Well, right now I
Exactly.
only have one, and that's the Netflix thing. But I think
Right.
I'm done. I like BritBox and I like Acorn. I like foreign stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's
I look
because
at the Brit Box.
I'm waiting for them to get new content on the
Right.
other
Wow.
networks.
Well,
Yeah,
speaking, can I give one more story?
Yeah.
Speaking, since
please.
we're talking about foreign content, I talked about this on Wednesday. I'm Nigerian, and so this hit a particular chord. So Nigeria's first Oscar entry, Lionheart. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but watch
Not
it if you
yet.
have not. It's really good. It's on Netflix. So before you cut them loose, make sure you watch
Okay,
No,
Lionheart.
I have
it's
to
on
go
my
find.
watch list. It's on my watch list.
Good, good, good. So it's actually a great film, a great story about a daughter. They have a transportation company in Lagos in Nigeria, and the daughter has to take it over when her father gets ill. So they have to raise money to save it, and so it's a great story. So this is their first entry into the Oscars race for Best International Film. Well, apparently it had too damn much English for the Academy because it got disqualified for
Wow.
too much English.
Wow.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Yeah, and she explained on Wednesday why that is. Why does the movie have so much English in it? Why?
Because English is the official language of
I'm like,
Nigeria and the official
Duh.
language of government. Even though there are 250 plus languages and dialects, I mean,
Right.
I myself am Igbo, so we speak a different language. But the official, because of that, there's one lingua franca that ties everybody together, which is
English.
English. Most people speak
mhm.
English. Most people you will hear speaking a mixture of Yoruba and English, or Hausa and English, or Igbo and English, or whatever, and English, because that's what's done. You go to the marketplace, they're speaking in, and at the very least, pidgin English. So the way the film was done is the way business and things are
Very
conducted
smart,
there.
and I think it was a very smart thing to do that because, okay, yes, the official language is English there, but when the movie comes out, say when people in America want to watch it or the UK or whatever, it's in English. So that is a natural end to watching the movie versus, okay, is it another language? I don't want to deal with that. So does this tie in with the idea of Americans thinking that Africa is this dark continent where everybody's still in a hut and there's no lights and they don't, they're, they don't know
I
English,
really do. I really do.
which is an ignorant
I,
place to come from.
well, I think it's the
I
fact
truly do.
that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Terry.
Go ahead,
I
Terry.
think it is. I think it is, and because the academy is run by people who became famous in the '60s, which was well
Uh-huh.
before um, the decolonization of the continent, and so they're just freaking clueless.
It's
I don't know what else to
2019,
say,
people.
and they
It's
don't want to
2019.
acknowledge the different places, um, the languages that became the official language because of colonization.
Right.
Exactly. And the thing is, clueless and lazy. It is extremely lazy that in 2019 you don't know that the official language of Nigeria is English, and I don't excuse anybody who doesn't know. If we are expected to know and understand all the capitals of Western and Eastern Europe, to understand what languages are spoken there, then the very same should be paid to the rest of the world. How very dare
Okay,
you?
but
Who the hell are you?
Okay, look
I
at this
do have a
device.
question.
This device is almost like 90-something% saturation in the world. This device is in your
Uh-huh.
hand, so you have no excuse to not know that English is the official language because this thing tells you, and you
Okay, but
have.
Exactly.
I've got a question because I need to know about processes. So when we're looking at foreign films, does Australia qualify? Because
Now,
they're speaking English on there. Does
that's a good. Go ahead.
does Britain qualify? I'm just asking some questions.
No, it's because it's Africa, a country, one of
No,
the countries. That's
no,
why.
stop. I want to know what the policy is.
So that's what I don't know is the official policy. What I'm guessing the policy is that the movie needs to be made in the official, one of the official languages, or languages of your country, which English is for Nigeria, English is for Ghana. As Genevieve Nnaji, who made the film and stars of the film, said, we didn't choose who colonized us. So the same way
Exactly.
that a francophone West African film may be done in French. For example, if it's Senegalese, they may be speaking French as opposed to Wolof. Are you going to disqualify them? French
You
is one of
understand
the
what I'm
official
saying?
languages.
Right.
So I need to know: does Australia qualify as a foreign film? Because I'm just seeing some.
It does.
It does.
It does, because here's the thing: they changed the category. It used to be best foreign language film, but now they have best international film. So now that you have done that, because the first way was asinine anyway, but now that you have done that, language should be taken out of the equation. If it stars,
don't they base it on the country of origin? Like,
correct.
Right. So that's
or
why
every film that has English in it should not be qualified. I mean, there's got to be some kind of
no. It goes. This category
consistent
goes by
policy.
country of origin.
Correct.
That's always been the rule outside of the U.S.
So that's
Not
going to
by
take out
language.
Britain. That's going to take out. Do you understand what I'm saying? All I want is the application to be across the board.
Yeah, no, I see exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. But the thing is,
start there.
Well, they're thinking with a Eurocentric model and a Eurocentric worldview where English is only spoken in England, in Scotland, in Ireland, in Australia, in New Zealand. Those are the official languages of those. They're thinking very Eurocentrically about it. And I
So
think
they can
it's despicable.
qualify.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a
Again,
poem and film with English language. Interesting. Do you see where I'm going with that?
I do. I do. And it's not a rabbit hole. I do see where you're going with that. Absolutely. It's terrible.
Look at this. My phone, I went official language of Nigeria and it says English. I didn't have to tap on anything. It immediately popped up. So I'm saying, where are these people? They're in the deep dark hole of, like Terry said, that from the 60s or whatever, and they don't know their little phone that they got in their hand. They could have asked.
LA is full of Nigerians. Somebody knew some. See, this is the thing when you are
But we're not on the board.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely
we're
right.
Not a part of the academy.
You're right, but I shouldn't have to sit there and educate you on, since you said you're in charge of this, since you are the one making the decisions, then you damn well better know everything that's a factor in something being accepted or rejected, because you're too stupid and lazy to know.
Hold them accountable.
But listen, didn't I just hear that Courtney Vance was voted president of SAG-AFTRA?
I think so. Yeah.
Right. So he's the president now. So who's the president of the Academy, that takes care of that? I'm not sure who it is, but we're getting there. Okay. Courtney Vance is the president of
all of that only matters because somebody made this point on my thread when they said, but don't they have black people that are voting? I'm like, that doesn't mean a damn thing if they are thinking with the Eurocentric model. If they are not internationally minded, there are plenty of black people that don't know that the English is one of the official languages of Nigeria. So if you have people that are, let's just say, Americans that are uneducated as to the ways of the rest of the world, and then they use that uneducated knowledge to judge what is fit for consumption, that's a problem. And see, I shouldn't have had to call you out on this. How many damn times do I have to keep you fine and upright? Come on. That's just laziness.
That was my point. That's been a long thing with the vision of Americans as stupid and lazy and uneducated, and they don't care about anything outside of America as far as other countries. Yeah.
This proves it. If you want the people to continue thinking that way about us, then you succeeded.
Where are the receipts? Here's the receipt. That proves it. Show me the receipt. Well, then by you doing something, and they, who's the president of the Academy? They should be. Aren't you embarrassed? Who is it? I want to know who it is. I got a letter to write.
It wasn't. I forgot.
I can't even remember.
They should be ashamed.
Isn't it a woman? Isn't it a woman of color? Or am I getting things mixed up? I'm getting things mixed up. I'm sorry. But that was my point, was just like, okay, you're proving the fact that a simple phone search, Google search, tells you, oh, the official language is English.
It's because you think you know. It's because you think you know.
I don't know. I'm just
David Rubin was just elected in August.
Oh, okay.
The Academy of the president of the Academy.
Okay. All right. There. Well.
So David Rubin, I need you and all of your members to be educated on the ways of the world. If you are going to give these types of awards, then you need to be up on everything that is a factor, because this is shameful.
It is shameful.
And
it is very shameful.
And here's the thing. I'm also almost not blaming them, because you can only expect what you can expect from people. Yes. I don't expect very much from them. We need to stop holding these awards as the end all and be all of what is worthy of being seen and what is considered art.
My thing is too, Tachi, do you really watch the awards?
Now that they're boring.
Now that I don't have antenna TV.
Not since the midnight fiasco, I haven't. Hashtag Oscar so white. I'm gonna put it there.
The thing is, they're boring. I don't even. You know what? Is it goes beyond the Oscars? So why did they're boring? It's just
They are.
boring TV. They don't do a good job of keeping you entertained. It is bloody boring. They are for the Oscars, and these award ceremonies are for them. Are for Hollywood. It's not for us. They
It's
just
not.
figured they can
Exactly.
make money off of it. So it's boring. So I don't
So
watch.
listen, back in the day, let's say 70s, 80s, or whatever, the Oscar thing was big because there was no social media. I mean, because social media came around and we have so much access to the celebrity culture and everything, which we didn't have back in the 70s and the 80s. That's why it's not a big, that's why they see their ratings go down and they go, oh, well, what the rate? Why the ratings go down? It's because we don't care anymore because we have access to celebrities. Before
Right.
you only had
and the
access
point,
by watching the Oscars or whatever little award
yeah.
show came on and you were happy with that. But now it's a 24/7. I got instant access to the celebrity of my choice, so I don't have to watch the Oscars to see them win an award.
Exactly. And you know what? I think the thing is that people like to see a piece of celebrity life. So most people are like, I'm good if I just watch my favorite celebrity getting ready for the Oscars. Hey, I'm on my way to the Oscars. This is what I have. I'm good.
And guess
I'm
what
done.
they do? Guess what they do? They do that on YouTube now.
And
J-Lo,
I
Will
think,
Smith, a ton of celebrities all have YouTube channels and they all show a slice of life. The ones that are smart are showing a slice of life. Will Smith is top with that.
He's excellent.
He's excellent. His YouTube channel is perfection. Perfection. And this is because everybody you have to own your audience now. You don't need ABC, NBC. You don't need the channels to give you access to your celebrity. The celebrity doesn't need to go through that channel anymore. They got a direct connection with their target audience. So
Exactly.
the smart ones know that. Will Smith, J-Lo, there's a ton. And they get on and they do a little bit. Some more than others. Will goes overboard. Not overboard. I mean, his thing is highest because he's creative like that. But there's some that, J-Lo does a slice of, I'm getting, like Tati said, I'm getting ready for whatever award show. And she shows, a little bit of her life. And you watch it and you're satisfied for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever. So that the smart ones are doing that. So they don't need the Oscars. They don't need. It's okay. We want to see who wore what designer. There's a show that comes on after that tells you or before what they're wearing.
Exactly. And I can check it out on YouTube. I mean, I could check it out on Instagram.
YouTube.
There's just a lot of different places I can go to see it. I can see it in my news feed. Because that's the part I want to see. I want to see the dresses.
What I'm saying is they have to get with the times. Millennial Gen Z do not watch TV, do not own TVs. They watch with this and they watch YouTube.
And that's why I said, are people really watching the Oscars? Are people really watching?
No, they're not.
No. Year over year, the Oscars viewing is down.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? And they don't decide who is successful.
But see, my point is that they're bewildered by the fact that the ratings are going down and they're doing all kind of stuff to get people to watch. They're not watching.
But you see why I can't be mad at this Academy Nigeria thing? Because you're even bewildered that people aren't watching. How can I expect you to know? So I'm like, you know what? I can only expect so much of you. Do you? I don't expect much of you, clearly. So,
and you're right, Tati. We have to let go of the Oscars being the be all end all, or the be all end all. You're knocking, we're knocking on the door and they're not letting us in. Well, guess what? Tyler Perry said, I'm not knocking on the door. I'm going back over there. I'm going to buy this land that was owned to the Confederates and this and that. And I'm going to build my own stuff on it.
Exactly. He
and
said,
I'm continue to build.
That's where my head is going. Why can't we just do our own thing?
He did it. Instead of people, and
I'm
he
talking
talks
about
about
award-wise. We have awards.
We have
no, absolutely. But we've been brainwashed to believe that those are insignificant awards. They're nice, but the awards that really matter are the Oscars, the Emmys, the Golden Globes. Those are the ones that the Tonys when it comes to theater. Those are the ones that really matter. And we've been brainwashed.
The accolades, but I've heard stories also actors saying that they won an Oscar and it didn't translate into more money or more fame because it doesn't.
No, and then you have an inordinate amount of pressure on your shoulders to constantly produce, to constantly be in hits, because now you have this award that is considered the pinnacle, and it's like, where else can you go but down? You know,
True.
so
So the key is okay, what is your goal as an actor? Oh, I want to win that Oscar. But for what? For more attention, more fame? You can get that instantly. Start a YouTube channel. You can get it.
tell important stories. I
Millions
think
of views.
at the end of the day,
I just never really appreciated how they handle it over the years. So, I just really haven't
It's
acknowledged
on
it.
a decline for a reason. Wake Up Academy and other shows that I wonder why is the viewing going down year over year? Dummy, look up and see why. Because Gen Z, millennial, and older generations is going to
And
creep in. They're
demographics are
not going
changing.
to watch TV. Okay?
and what we want is highlights. So this is my suggestion to you, all ye awardees shows. I think that you should just have them for yourselves.
And then
If you
put the
want to
highlights
videotape them, you can put the highlights up because
on
nobody
YouTube.
cares. What I watched the
Exactly.
Grammys were on, and again, I have a podcast with Kevin about this, so we kind of have to watch some of these shows. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, Kevin, I just can't. I cannot bring
Because you
myself.
get the highlights. If you watch the morning news show, you get the
Yes.
highlights.
And you could go to YouTube. Okay, so the Grammys was on. I didn't want to watch that whole damn thing. The only thing I really wanted to see was maybe one or two speeches, and I wanted to see Lizzo perform.
Yes.
Guess what? I went to YouTube. I saw Lizzo's entire performance. I don't care about the
Same thing
rest.
with I think it was the BET Awards this year or something that I didn't watch. Mary J. Blige was getting an award.
Yes.
And I said, I went straight to YouTube and saw the whole performance.
That's all I wanted to see.
That's
Mary
all I
J.
wanted.
Blige. Exactly.
So I don't have to
You
sit
see,
through
so if we
who is
can
that,
mix
who is
that, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's where you have to pay attention to viewer behavior and how they watch TV and do they consume TV and do they do this and those things are important. You have to pay attention to it because that will keep you from going, wow, well, nobody's watching our show. Why are the ratings going down? And you have to explain to the advertisers, you want the advertiser dollar and da. You need to be making a pivot. Okay.
Or you need to buy some more bots. Okay, guys.
About some more bots. Oh my
What
God.
can I tell you? What the ratings will go up.
Pat is over here with jokes. She said, J-Lo, come watch my latest divorce. Oh boy.
Well, she did do some drama on that.
But seriously, the smartest celebrities, they have already because it used to be a thing where they didn't want to expose their life to their fans, but now it's kind of like social media came along and people demanded it, and so the smart ones will show a slice of and keep the rest private, but do it in an entertaining way to make the fans think that you shared something tremendous.
But the thing is, somebody's going to share it anyway. You might as well take control.
Right. Take control of
between the drones and the phones. Somebody's gonna share it.
It's your PR. For the celebrity, YouTube and social media, Instagram is your PR to get out in front of a story before something negative coming. Get out in front of it. Any smart PR person will tell them that you get out in front of it and you own the story. Don't let the late night comedians get on it and turn it and twist it, and then you try to after the fact. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
So you got a phone, use it. Will Smith got these $1 million cameras following him around, but that's another level. You don't have to do his level.
You don't have to be Will Smith.
Yeah, you don't have to be Will Smith, but be entertaining. That's what he is. He's entertaining. He's always been entertaining. It's just that he's doing it on a smaller screen because he realizes that's where the attention is. This is the whole deal: is where is the attention?
Correct.
That's all you need to know. The rest of what tool do I use, or I need a special mic, or I need a this, or I gotta go buy a $200 light. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You got a phone, get a little clip-on ring light if you need light, but stand in front of the sun. There's your light.
How about that?
There's your
How about
light.
that?
Okay, let me stop. Let me stop with the rant.
It's okay,
And I
ladies.
say that because people make this more difficult than it is. Like social media is like this Rubik's cube to figure out. And then when they can't get the Rubik's cube solved, they go, well, it sucks, it breaks, it don't work. It does.
Peel off the stickers. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, ladies, we are almost there. Is there something you want to share before
I'm
we
done.
go? Are we done? Are we done here? All righty then. Monday is coming, and on Monday we do coffee thoughts tea with the Biz Chicks. So if you have something else that you want to rant about, join us on Monday and come on in and join the conversation. Guys, I want to thank you so much for coming by today. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
You know you've been on the
Like
road.
Nazim says he loves the show. He's like, this is the best for him, and we love you, Nazim, and we love Pat. We love everybody that's watching.
Absolutely.
Brenna, everybody that stopped in.
That tuned in.
Yeah.
We just thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you could have spent your time anywhere, but you chose to spend it with us, and we thank you for that. So without any further ado, unless someone has something coming up they want to talk about, okay, then don't forget to go to the front of your own line. Have a great day. Bye-bye. No.